Have you ever felt like your English is just a little flat? Like you're just stating facts one after the other? Well, today, we're going to change that. We're diving into some simple but powerful tools that add all sorts of color, attitude, and nuance to everything you say. We're talking about modal verbs, and in this explainer, we are going to break it all down.
Think about it for a second. How do you take a simple statement like, I go to the store, and turn it into something else? Like a suggestion that you should go, or a possibility that you might go, or an obligation that you must go? Well, the answer is this really special group of verbs that act like a fine-tuning knob for your meaning.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll get straight to what modal verbs actually are. Then, and this is crucial, we'll go over the 2 golden rules you need to use them perfectly, every single time. After that, we'll meet their cousins, the phrasal modals. And to finish, we'll see how it all works in the real world.
Okay, first things first. What are these powerful little words anyway? Let's go ahead and open up your communication toolbox and see what we've got inside.
Honestly, the best way to think about these is as attitude verbs. They aren't about the action itself. Not really. They're all about how you, the speaker, feel about that action. Is it something you have to do? Is it just a maybe? Is it a good idea? That's what a modal tells everyone.
And here they are. This is the core group. You've definitely seen all of these before. Can, could, may, might, must, shall, should, will, would. You can even see ought to and had better in there. These are the absolute essentials, the must-haves in your toolbox.
Now here's the best part. Even though these verbs are super powerful, they are incredibly easy to use. All you have to do is remember 2, let's call them golden rules. So let's get you set up to use these new tools like a pro right now.
Rule number 1. This is so simple and it's an absolute. Modal verbs never, and I mean never, get a final S. It doesn't matter who you're talking about. He, she, it, they. It doesn't matter. No S, period.
And this shows it perfectly, right? You'd always say she can do it. You would never ever say she cans do it. It just sounds wrong to the ear. Remembering this one little thing will make your English sound so much more natural instantly.
Okay, on to rule number 2, and it's just as important. After a modal verb, you always use the simple, basic form of the next verb. That means no to, no ing, no s, just the plain verb. Let's look at this example here. The right way is always, he might go. You'd never say he might to go or he might goes. Nope. It's just the modal and then the simple verb. That's the formula.
Of course, English just has to have an exception to the rule, doesn't it? Well, for modals, that one little exception is the phrase ought to. This is the only one from our main list that actually needs the word to right after it, as in, he ought to go. Okay, so now that we've got the main crew down, let's meet what we can call the lookalikes. These are phrasal modals. They're little phrases that mean pretty much the same thing as our core modals.
And this chart here lays it out beautifully. So instead of just can, you can often say be able to. Instead of will, you can use be going to. And a really common one, instead of must, you can say have to. These are great because they give you a lot more flexibility, especially when you need to talk in different tenses.
All right, so we've got the definition, we've got the rules. Now for the fun part. Let's put all this theory to the test and see how these tools actually work in a real-world conversation.
So we're going to break down a little conversation from our source material called An All-Nighter. It's basically about a student who is just wiped out after staying up all night working on college applications. As we go through it, listen for those modals. They're going to tell us how the speakers really feel.
Okay, look at this. When the student says applying for college shouldn't be so much work, that's what we call advisability. They're giving their opinion on how things are supposed to be. Then they say, I may do a few later, which shows it's a possibility. But then their friend says, I might apply early. See how might feels a little less certain than may? It's a weaker possibility. And finally, you really ought to. There's our exception. That's being used to give some really strong advice. It's all about the attitude behind the words.
So, let's do a super quick recap. What are the big things to remember? First, modals are your secret weapon for expressing your attitude. Second, those 2 golden rules. No final S and always use the simple verb form right after. Third, don't forget our one little exception. Ought always needs its buddy, to. And finally, Remember that phrasal modals like have to or be able to can often step in and do the same job.
And that's a wrap on our explainer. We've unpacked the toolbox, we've learned the rules, and we've seen them in action. So now the only question left is, how are you going to put them to work? Which modal verb will you use today?